don't want to keep him waiting anymore. We got Jeff Reed, ASU Jeff Reed from A-State Nation. Jeff, welcome in.
Thank you, guys. It's an honor to be with you all.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining us. It's, looking forward to. John's having a bit of internet trouble, so if he freezes or has some issues, we'll keep it moving. But thank you for joining us, Jeff. We are very interested in learning about Arkansas State, what they bring to the table, what their season's going so far, players to look out for. What should Michigan be aware of about Arkansas State heading into this matchup this Saturday?
Well, it's a team that before the season, I would have said that it's way more offensively. The talent level on offense was better and better prepared and ready to compete with the Michigan, but I don't know that right now. The offensive line is really kind of beat up pretty good. The defense has played well at times, a scrappy bunch. Not a whole lot of superstars there, just a bunch of good football players that have been around a while. So I think it's going to be a game where, for Arkansas State to have a chance, they obviously will have to get some help from Michigan. Michigan not play well, maybe have some turnovers, maybe give up a cheap touchdown in the kicking game or defensively. But as far as there are some good players there. Jalen Rayner is quarterback, Sun Belt Conference freshman of the year last year, all conference guy. He did not play well in the opener against Central Arkansas, missed a lot of passes. It was a game that Arkansas State won, scored with about 3 seconds left to win. And that was a controversial touchdown that eventually the league came out and said the replay should have said it was incomplete. But, after the fact, it doesn't change anything. So, and A-State will definitely take the victory. But he did not play well. He missed a lot of passes and just made some bad reads. Now, last week, he was a different guy, and he was kind of the player that Arkansas State fans were thinking they'd be seeing more of. He ran for about 70 or 80 yards, and he threw the ball well. There was an interception, but that probably wouldn't have happened if the defensive back hadn't pulled the jersey of his receiver when the pass interference wasn't called. So the ball sailed over his head and was picked. But he played well. He's a good player. A couple of receivers. Corey Rucker is a guy that's played here 2 years. Then portaled to South Carolina and was hurt and was pretty much homesick. So he's come back and had a decent year last year, but he's really started off this year strong. Courtney Jackson is a guy that portaled here, started out at Syracuse. Just a really good, solid football player. Had a 77-yard punt return last week. The best offensive lineman, there's two of them. Jacob Bear, who played for the first time since tearing his ACL. And he's, I think PFL had him the second highest graded, or maybe even the highest graded center among Group of 5 schools last year. And then McKeelan Thomas is an all-conference offensive tackle. But he is dated. Butch Jones said today he was day-to-day. I'd be surprised if he plays against Michigan at all.
Okay. So then who would be filling in for him?
Kind of committee. Okay. Tobias Braun, who's a portal guy from Ole Miss, and I think he's actually born in Germany. He may get some. They've actually been playing a freshman named Riley McGehee out of Alabama, who has played well, but this time last year he was playing Class 5A football in Alabama, and this year he's playing a bunch of child from Michigan. So that's a pretty big difference there. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Central Arkansas has an All-American defensive end that's probably going to be a top 3-round draft choice. And as Butch said after the game, David Walker kind of baptized Riley a few times. but we'll see what happens. I think the big issue, one of the big issues for Arkansas State's offense is controlling the Michigan defensive front, which is just so good.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so what do you think is Arkansas State's strength? Is it their offense or their defense? What do you think is their strongest side of the ball?
I do think when everybody gets there and everybody's playing, it's probably the offense. They had to plug in a couple holes, but they're pretty solid at 4 of the offensive line spots. Now, would any of those guys start at Michigan? Bayer might have a shot. I don't know what Michigan has at center, but I don't know about the other spots.
I don't know. I don't know what Michigan has at center.
We're trying to figure that out.
Yeah, but Jacobs he's really good, you know, and he's both Thomas and Bayer are on the Reese Cup Senior Bowl watch list, you know, so they and these are guys that are looking for future pros, and it's not coaches voting on it. That I think it's a very good objective way to look at things. If they recognize it, I think that means the guys are pretty solid. But I think Michigan had like 6 defensive linemen on that list, so even on the best case scenario, you're going 6 against 2. That's not good. But we'll see. I think long term the offensive part. I think they're really just trying to get everybody well. They needed a 2-0 start. Both games were at home, and they got that. Now they've got Michigan and Iowa State, both ranked in the top 25. I think it's the first time the school has ever played back-to-back top 25 teams coming up, and so just try to get through those games. And you got a week off, and then you open Sunbelt play with South Alabama at home. And I think that's really what they're shooting for, is to bet, you know, if you can come out of your non-conference 2-2 with this schedule, that's not bad for Arkansas State. And then you load up and let's see what you can do in conference.
So we do have one of our super chats here. Drufus was very excited to hear about the Pocahontas. So thanks for the $1.99 there, Drufus. My wife and I are from Pocahontas, so there you go.
Pocahontas is a town about 30 miles from Jonesboro.
Nice. Are you freezing, John? All right. All right. So
yeah, I guess the kind of other piece. Are we freezing again? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let me take it, John. So if Arkansas State was to win this game, what do they need to do, and who do you expect to step up to be able to try and get a victory against Michigan?
I would think that Jalen Rayner would have to play exceptionally well. I would think Corey Rucker and Courtney Jackson and the receiving crew would have a good day. They've had some trouble running the ball at times this year, and they ran it better in the second half against Tulsa. But I don't think the Tulsa defensive front is the Michigan defensive front. And I really think the defensive line of Michigan is going to be the biggest problem for Arkansas State. Not to take anything away from Michigan's offense, but still, I think that defensive front. And I'm an old school guy that believes that, you win the line of scrimmage, you're usually going to win the football game. So I think those have to happen. I think Michigan would have to have a bad day, just play poorly. A lot of penalties, turnovers. Arkansas State maybe get a kick return or an easy score, cheap score, a kick return or a defensive score, something like that, and then Dominic Zavada have to miss all his field goals since he owes us a favor anyway.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, John, what question you got next? You there? Okay. Okay, so he's still having trouble, so we'll keep it going here.
There we go.
Are you good, John?
Yeah, we're struggling a little bit. I'm here. Hopefully everybody can hear me. So I guess my question is, on the other side of the ball, you talked a little bit about the offense, but what about the defensive side, and kind of where do you see that holding up given the offensive struggles that Michigan has had? Do you think it could be a bit more of an even matchup than people expected?
Well, maybe we'll see. Brian Whitehead's a defensive end. He's from the Memphis area, so it's close to Jonesboro. Transferred in here from Liberty. He really played well the second half and was able to put pressure on the Tulsa quarterback, and that's one thing that turned that game around. A couple of Michigan guys at linebacker. And I got Charles Willikis, I think, whose family has Michigan State ties. I don't know Charles's hometown. But then Marvin Helm, who is a portal guy from Colorado. I think he's from Belleville, Michigan. They're probably the two defensive leaders so far. There's a defensive tackle that is preseason all-conference, Nate Marty, transferred here from an Ivy League school. It's kind of a defense by committee up front. They're kind of playing a lot of guys, and Marty's been pretty consistent. Tim Hardeman's pretty good up front, but he's very undersized, and Michigan, that would probably be a problem against Michigan. And then the linebackers have been good. And one guy that's been playing well for a long time is Justin Parks, who is he's been playing safety, and he's moved to kind of an outside linebacker rover type guy they call a star. So he's a very solid player. He actually made one of the big plays in the game last week where Tulsa guy was kind of weaving down, was about to score a touchdown, and he ran him down from behind and knocked the ball loose right before he crossed the goal line, and it rolled out the back for a touchback. So that saved a touchdown there, and turned out to be a pretty crucial play at the time. You don't think about it, but yeah, it was big. So those are some of the defensive guys. But I really think, sometimes your group of fives can do okay first team against first team when you play games like this. Now, I know Michigan's a different level. We're talking about a defending national champion. And, you're not talking about like a lower division team from your conference. But the problem usually comes, and it usually starts in the second half, is you start seeing depth come into play. Because the frontliners might be okay, but when you start getting into the twos and the threes, that's when there's a huge gap. I'm not hearing you guys.
So when we go to this part, we talk keys to the game, and what do both teams need to do to win? And I ask everybody, I don't care if it's Texas or whatever, Rutgers, Indiana. I ask, what do you need to do to win? And same goes for you. So if Arkansas State were to pull out the miracle, right?
Yeah.
What would need to happen?
2 to 3 keys. Yeah.
I would preface this by saying that if Arkansas State were to win Michigan, everybody in the Sun Belt Conference would be thrilled, because we're all so tired of hearing about the time Appalachian State beat Michigan, 20 years ago?
Yeah, we're tired of that too.
Nobody has ever gotten more mileage out of one game than Appalachian State's gotten out of that. And
they really have.
We hear it all of the time. So I think everybody in the conference would probably be happy for us. Hey, way to go. But 3 keys, I think Arkansas State needs to play error-free football. I think they need to be plus in the turnover margin. And I think they probably need to get a special team score. And if those 3 things happen, no guarantee they'll win. But I think that would probably be part of the formula that produces that.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll give my 3 keys to the game. So the first one would be dominating trench play. If Michigan can dominate the trench play, they can control the game. The other key to the game is to set up our identity, which is our running game. If we can run the game and control the clock, we will win. And the third one is take care of the football. Discipline, ball discipline. If we do not have any turnovers, we control the trenches, and we create a running identity for this game. Michigan will have no issue winning this game, and that's Michigan football to a T. Hoping to see it, because last week we unfortunately didn't see it in our week 1 matchup. Even though there was some bright spots, there was some question marks also. So hopefully this week 3 matchup, Michigan looks a lot more tighter, a lot more as a unit. They actually look like a team instead of a bunch of moving parts with talent all over the place, but a bunch of individual players making plays instead of the actual team itself coming away. So what do you think, John?
Well, two things. One, I think this is this is the game where Michigan's talent might actually be enough. Sometimes Michigan gets criticized because there's not enough 5 stars, right? We know the usual suspects who say that. But in this case, Michigan's got quite a bit of a talent advantage here. But number two, the players who want to be there need to be in the building. So there was actually a text message that went out from the upperclassmen that said, "Don't come into the building tomorrow until you're ready to right the ship." So what we're hoping here is that the players heed that advice. They come in ready to right the ship, and then the coaches actually put them in the right positions. Because what we're seeing all over in the Texas game, and granted, Texas could win the Natty. Okay, let's be very clear.
Yeah.
Texas could win.
I think this is one of those rare Texas teams that might live up to the hype. Down in this part of the country, we hear a lot about Texas, but it's always Texas. But it's so rare that they live up to the hype, and it's probably because the expectations are just too unrealistic anyway. But I think that Texas team there is pretty salty.
Yeah, it's a very experienced team, and hats off to Steve Sarkisian because he seems to have an actual program built right now. They're recruiting well and they're developing well, so we'll see what they do when they get into more SEC play. But I think Texas is definitely a national championship favorite right now.
Yeah, Nick Saban once said when he was talking to Lane Kiffin on the sidelines, he said, "Those aren't conversations. Those are ass chewings." And Tom Bouchard here is saying the same thing that I just said 2 minutes ago with the 5. There needs to be some of that going on this week in practices, coaches and players. And when you talk about keys to the game, there needs to be a fire. Blue by 90 was talking about this. Our friends over at Blue by 90, and Tanner, who was just on the call-in show a couple weeks ago. Where's the fire? Where's the smash? Where's the identity that this program has had for the last 3 years? So Arkansas State could be an opportunity to start regaining a little bit of that. And we'll have to see kind of how it goes. One more thank you for that, Drufus. There are Tuttle rumors.
Yeah.
Now, would that be for the Arkansas State game or just at some point this season, Drufus?
Yeah. Yeah, so he's been getting healthier. We'll see if he, word is he's improving, he's getting healthier. But we'll see if he enters the quarterback competition or not. I mean, at this point, until somebody takes the torch, I think the job's open to anybody. So we'll see. Now, I want to caution everybody who thinks Jack Tuttle could be the savior. I'm not a firm believer in that, but I am definitely a firm believer that we need to figure out who's going to be quarterback 1. Michigan does seem to be invested with Davis Warren right now, which is interesting. So we'll see, what comes of it. We'll definitely keep our ear to the ground on that.
Yeah. Run the damn ball, I guess is what Drufus meant there. And yeah, I mean, there needs to be an identity in the run game. That's where Michigan has been so strong the last 3 years. And that means not just the left tackle, not just the left guard, but the entire O-line needs to gel. And then on top of that, right, whoever is going to be between the tackles needs to get that done. Just in the A gap, just running through the A gap and getting that. And that just wasn't happening last week, really, except in a couple of occasions. So once you run the ball, then you can set up easier play actions and easier passes for Davis Warren.
And we heard coming out of camp that they were doing that play action was going to be a strong component to the game plan this year, and we're not seeing it. Now, the reason we might not be seeing this because the running game hasn't been established. But even so, it's the entire scheme we're running right now, or play calls we're running, are just perplexing. and the timing of certain plays is perplexing. But all right, did you want to go with predictions, John?
One more thing. There have been some. So even the Michigan Insider was talking about this with Devin Gardner, and they were talking about, it's time to give Orji some series. Let Orji cook. The indications right now are I don't really see that.
No.
Like TJ was saying, it sounds like they're going to bring Orji in for a second and third down situation, and that's about it. Like one off here and there. It's unfortunate because I would like to see them run series. Give Davis a series, give Orji a series.
Well, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a rotation series, but what I would like to see is let Davis Warren start.
Yeah.
But if the team is bogging down and they're not driving, they're not driving the field, then let Orji get a series. Like, this is your opportunity to let's see what Orji has. Let's see what he can do in a game in the game, because some players step up when the lights are on, so, Mays Madman, play every QB on the roster. He's obviously referring to Jaden Davis. We're not going to see Jaden Davis for some time. I don't think they're going to burn his red shirt. His parents want him to keep his red shirt. Now we'll see. Does Sharon Moore have a talk with Jaden Davis's family and says, hey, we'd like to start your development curve a lot quicker? We'll see. But right now it appears Davis Warren is going to get full opportunity, and Alex Orji is going to have to get on the field, I guess, prove it in practice, which I don't disagree with that. But again, if the offense is sputtering or is out of sync after a few drives, then they need to, in my opinion, let Orji run it, or not just run it, but like run the offense, and let's see what he can do with it. Let's find out. Because here's what I know, John. I watched the spring game, and he was throwing at a 70% clip. And he wasn't just throwing dump offs. He was throwing short to medium range. So, like, I know he's capable, but I don't know, man. Something had to have happened where they've lost all trust in Alex Orji, and I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah, Maze Madman. I watched your show. Maze Madman does a great job. And he's the one who said, yeah, like, bring in Davis, bring in Denegal, even, like, play everybody, because why the hell not? Now's the time, and see what you have. But if Jaden Davis plays a couple of plays on Saturday, that doesn't burn his red shirt either. That's the other thing. Like, you can play up to 4 games. So they can at least take a look and give him a look in the fourth quarter and be like, okay, what do we have at every position? But I think it's Davis Warren, and I think they're just going to ride out Davis Warren this year, to be honest. I think that's where we're at.
I don't know if they're going to ride him out the whole year, but they're definitely going to give him full opportunity right now to take the job. That's where they are. They seem to be committed to developing Davis Warren. So if Alex Orji does get opportunity, let's see if he can make the most of it.
Yep. To be continued. And here we go with predictions. So of course we always start with the guest. Jeff, you have a prediction for us of how you think this game might go?
Let's say Michigan 42, Arkansas State 17.
17. Okay, 42-17 by Jeff Reed. I am going to, so my prediction is 38-10 Michigan for the victory. I do think it's possible they lay off in the second half, but I think they might use it as an experimental opportunity for some of their players. Maybe we may see some of the depth get more opportunity. Maybe you see Alex Orji get more opportunity because we do have a large margin. But I do think Michigan comes away with a pretty solid, strong victory. And I will also say, I think they got some demons to exercise. And unfortunately, Jeff, they might take it out on you guys.
That wouldn't be the first time.
I'm going to go 34-13. 34-13.
You guys are way more generous than I am.
Well, people said I was not generous enough week 1, and it turned out that I was almost spot on week 1 with the prediction, because I knew I didn't think it was going to be quite as bad, but I knew that there was going to be some offensive issues, and I think it'll be a little better in week 3, because they're going to put a fire under everybody's ass in practice this week to come on out strong. And it's not gonna matter. Arkansas State, whoever, like, Michigan's gonna take their frustrations out a little bit, but it's still gonna be, I think it's still gonna be it's not gonna be like a 50-point bloodbath. It's gonna, because I think they're still figuring it out.
Yeah, everyone give us your predictions in the comments. We'll show them on the screen. But yeah, part of me thinks they're just still trying to figure things out. I don't know if they're going to run away with it. I'm curious to see if it's one of those slow burns too, where in the beginning it might be a bit of a struggle. And I don't want to say struggle, but Michigan may not be all gas in the beginning. They might just try and figure out their identity in the beginning. And then I do think they'll get in a rhythm. I do think they'll get momentum. But it could be second quarter before we see it. So that's why I'm not so sure we hit 40. And to be honest, Jeff, I'm not so sure our offense is capable of 40 right now. We are in that position. Our wide receivers, we don't have a lot of faith in right now. But hey, it's their opportunity to show us wrong. We'll see what they can do with it.
It's true. It's true. This one could be interesting. So get your popcorn ready. Jeff, listen, we really appreciate you coming on the show.
I've enjoyed it.
And spending the time, and I want to I always give everybody a final thought for everybody. And where can people find you on the internet?
Well, I'm the publisher of the 247 site, A State Nation. We're there, and if you're familiar with 247, and then my Twitter, I have the @A State Nation, which is kind of the main work one, and then I have an individual one that I do a few things on and help use it to promote the other one when I remember. But that's @ASU Jeff Reed.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we appreciate it. Our community really enjoyed having you on, Jeff, and hopefully we have a damn good football game Saturday. I mean, I don't think we can ask for anything else other than some fantastic ball on a fall Saturday. So thank you again for coming on, Jeff. We look forward to the matchup.